What up, what up, what up? YouTube Live. How's it going, everybody? Happy Saturday morning, January 5th. Sorry, it took me a while to finally get around to reviewing the Young Justice Outsiders episode 1. I guess you could say Young Justice season 2. I mean, season 3. Season 3, episode 1. Future Man review embargo also lifted. I wanna I wanna be able to speak about Future Man as well. I got up to like episode 3, so I need to do the episode 4 review. So anyway, let's get back to the topic at hand. Young Justice Outsiders has arrived. Whoa! This is so awesome. For those of us who are fans of the first 2 seasons of Young Justice, it's been about 5 years since Young Justice season 2. Yeah, 2013. So my memory was, it was a little bit shoddy as to the events that we left our heroes off of. So I was like, you know what? Let me just rewatch season 2, aka Young Justice Invasion, and I forgot how. What's the word I'm looking for? How full and how lengthy that storyline for that season 2 was. There's so many characters, and Justice League was on trial, and so it ended with with all my TV reviews and recap videos. As always, this too contains spoilers. So spoiler alert, I will be spilling some spoilers here. So season 2, Young Justice Invasion ends with, of course, Wally. Wally dies, and then Artemis becomes Tigress, and then Nightwing takes a break. So Young Justice Outsiders episode 1, titled Princess All, starts out from that scene, but then jumps ahead. So it starts out with that scene when Nightwing decides to take a break, and then tells Aqualad, you know what, you can lead the team. Batgirl will help you out. And of course, as you know, don't forget that Vandal Savage went to Apocalypse, and of course, Lex Luthor becomes his leader. Apparently, it's the UN ambassador that's his position now. So just a reminder of how season 2 ends, and season 3, this Young Justice Outsiders, reminds you of that ending that deals with Nightwing leaving. But as I said, it jumps ahead again to another event, another incident that happens, and by this time, here's the thing. I have it on my note here in front of my screen. So let's discuss this. It's interesting how the animation looks different. If you watch the Young Justice Invasion from the Cartoon Network or season 2, and then you watch this one, Young Justice Outsiders, the one that's on DC Universe, you could totally contrast the animation look and style. Maybe it's just me because I'm not an animation expert, but this one looks crisper, crispier. You could say that, and this one, the animation looks like the WB's DC animated movies animation. If you've seen, I don't know, Son of Batman or Justice League Dark, or the upcoming Reign of the Superman, that's what it looks like. It looks like they've adopted that animation. So it's very crispier, very very it looks updated, and I like that. They pretty much, if my theory is correct, they pretty much redid that scene when Nightwing decides to leave. So the story essentially in this episode 1 deals with meta human trafficking, or at least humans that they don't realize that they have meta genes. So they're being kidnapped, and then in some kind of a lab, they get turned into meta beings, and then they get used as weapons. So that's the incident, the heart of the problem in episode 1 of Young Justice Outsiders. And right off the bat, they use a little girl with a heart problem, as the subject of that's gonna really kind of that really gets our heart, turning, just like it gets the heart of Jefferson or Black Lightning turning. And Black Lightning shows up in this one. I don't remember Black Lightning showed up in the second season. Maybe I overlooked him in that one, but it's nice to see Black Lightning involved with the show. So there's a battle going on, and this little girl that gets turned into a meta being, and then Black Lightning kind of tries to stop uh the creature, but her heart stops because she has heart problem. And they discovered that it's actually a she. And that pretty much gets Black Lightning really, really depressed because, like, oh my god, I just killed a little girl. What have I done? And I totally get that, because as a viewer, as an audience, I'm like, oh shit, a little girl just died. Wow, they really start out this episode one with sort of a shocker, like, so, and that leads to my next thing on my next point on my note, in that even though Young Justice Outsiders or Young Justice series may not be as foul mouthed, let's just put it that way, or they would, they don't curse like the live action Titan series curses and whatnot. It's not as dark, but still, it seems that now that Young Justice is on DC Universe, instead of Cartoon Network, you can tell that they have a bit of a freedom now to experiment, okay, with certain violence, like violence you would not probably have seen or would not ever see on Cartoon Network. So again, they adopted more of the style of the DC animated movies, where you see people get shot and blood squirting everywhere, or people get sliced. So that's what you get in Young Justice Outsiders, and I think that's fantastic. That's fantastic. So that if you're used to seeing WB's DC animated movies, and now you get to see Young Justice Outsiders episode one, or the season 3, adopting that style or adopting that look, and so it's like you're never taken out of that experience, like you're still that within that realm. So I like that. So um of course, Superboy is still with Miss Martian. I really don't like Miss Martian without her hair on. I'm sorry. I guess that makes me sound like a bad guy, but she does not look good. She really needs to keep that hair on her head all the time. And they have a Justice League meeting, and it ends with freaking Batman resigning, and everybody that agrees with Batman resigning too, including Ollie at Green Arrow. They feel like, okay, here's the thing. They feel like Lex Luthor, as the UN ambassador, has been putting restrictions on Justice League. So they mentioned tsunami, right? Tsunami happened in one of the regions in the world, and Justice League wanted to help, but there's some rule that's set in place on Earth that pretty much says, hey, no, we don't need your help, so we got this. Our UN police, our UN first aid, everybody on Earth, we got this. We don't need Justice League on this relief effort. And apparently that has been going on for quite often in other cases too. So it gets to Batman's nerve. Batman feels that maybe we're just not needed anymore. And I think it's so Batman to say that. That's why my favorite character is Superman, because he's more optimist, more of a, like, because he's a Boy Scout. But Batman is just like, man. But the thing is, like, for him to resign too, it doesn't even. It's not Batman as well, because Batman would not quit. So you could tell that Batman's probably planning something on the side or on his own, maybe with the people that also resigned with him on that evening or around that table. So I'm guessing that if you were to believe Batman is not a quitter, that means Batman probably is planning some covert op on his own. Maybe he thinks that, oh, if I do it through the Justice League membership, then it'll be it's like I'm being put under a microscope, or whatever action I do, it'll get exposed, and the media will talk about it. So maybe he's doing something on a DL. I'm just theorizing. That's why he quit. But the episode in this one, the reason that he gives is like, everything we do, man, the Earth doesn't want us involved, so why be part of Justice League anymore? Such a downer. Oh, Batman, you know how to make everything gloomy, just like yourself, gloomy. Okay, so that's the conflict that happens with the Justice League. People resign left and right, including Black Lightning. Of course, Black Lightning has his reason because he just killed a girl. He can't wrap his head around that. He still feels guilty about that, and then he goes to the story of Markovia. I have to remind myself the name of that kingdom, Markovia, because I keep when I look it up on the list, like, okay, it's not Genovia, because Genovia is from Princess Diaries movies, right? So okay, so we're not gonna see Anne Hathaway. It's Markovia, and apparently the crown prince and his sister have been diagnosed as having meta genes. So they are vulnerable to being, of course, kidnapped and experimented on, and get turned into meta beings, just like what I mentioned to you earlier about those other kids or those other people. And at the same time, Nightwing is recruiting his own team, his own covert op. So he recruits Superboy, Black Lightning, and Tigress. Because remember, Artemis turns into Tigress. And real quick, so Tigress lives with Roy Harper now, or Will Harper, I guess he calls himself that. And it shows a little bit of a picture of Wally West on the mantle. That's what I don't get though about season 2 or season Young Justice Outsiders. I'm sorry, Young Justice Invasion, is that there's never an episode dedicated to Artemis dealing with her grief. She just suddenly turns into Tigress, because as if time just passes by. Maybe now with the show being on DC Universe instead of Cartoon Network, they could deal with Artemis / Tigress, the way she copes with not having Wally around, and having Will Harper instead. Maybe that could be the drama that could be fleshed out a little bit. I think that'll be pretty good if they explore that. And I think with that, at least with that picture on the mantle, it suggests to me that maybe the show might go towards that direction, even as she's doing her thing out on the field. Superboy proposes to Miss Martian. That's fantastic. I love that. They're such a cute couple. I wish I had a girlfriend that I could speak with telepathically. That'd be pretty cool. Although I would not want her to kind of prod my whatever I think every time 24/7, because I'd be like, oh, invasion of privacy, what are you doing? I need to have my space too. But back to Superboy and Miss Martian, they're engaged, so that's pretty cool. And at one point, Nightwing, when he recruits Superboy, he says to Superboy, "It's like, okay, but you gotta, because this operation is to stop the meta trafficking that's been going on." And so Nightwing doesn't want any attention to it. And Nightwing says this is not an official Justice League mission. So Superboy, you gotta find another costume or find another suit. And Superboy's like, I don't wear a suit. I just wear this. Sorry, my man, Nightwing said, but this symbol right here, it counts as a suit. So, but what's funny is that once they meet up in the park, right, this small covert op, Superboy still has his suit on, the one with the S symbol of hope on it. So I don't know, maybe it doesn't get through to him, or maybe he's like, no, this is who I am. Don't change me. But yeah, that's a little bit of a tiny fact that they kind of brush off a little bit. It's like, oh, he still has his S on it, or maybe Nightwing comes to the realization, you know what, fuck it, you can wear that if you want. So obviously the crowd. Okay, a few things before we're done here. Obviously, the Crown Prince also wants to be a hero, so we don't know yet how that's gonna turn out. We don't know the people behind the meta trafficking yet, so that's the mystery that needs to be solved. And I would love to see the reaction of the rest of the Young Justice members when they find out that freaking Nightwing is putting a covert op on his own behind their back. So it'll be interesting to see how they receive that news. and one last thing on my note here. Oh my God, seeing Cat Grant again. Cat Grant is the only character who doesn't seem to grow older, or she still looks the same as Cat Grant from season 1 and season 2. Everybody else kind of grows older or kind of has different storylines to themselves, but Cat Grant's still Cat Grant reporting, and she looks like she doesn't age a day. So that's funny. So yeah, overall, back again, that this Young Justice Outsiders seems to have a crispier look to its animation that kind of adopts the DC animated movies, and that's fantastic. And it seems that they're experimenting more with the violence and some of the graphics that that otherwise they would not have been able to on Cartoon Network, because you got to kind of cater to Cartoon Network audiences, which is younger. So, and that's fantastic. Now they're getting, I guess you could call it young adult Justice Outsiders. And I'm loving this. I'm just so thrilled that Young Justice is back, and it starts out really, really well, in my opinion. It's nothing that kind of floors me or oh my God, but it's one of those things where absence makes the heart grow fonder, that saying. So after 5 years, to encapsulate my feeling about it is like, oh, it feels good to have it back. It feels really good to have it back. So that's it. That's my review of Young Justice Outsiders, aka Young Justice Season 3, Episode 1, titled Princess All. Let me know what you think about it. Share your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, subscribe to my channel and ring the bell and press that like button and share this video with all your friends on the YouTubeverse. And if you can help support this channel, please do so at patreon.com/ramascreen. That's patreon.com/ramascreen. I want to hear what you think. Are you as excited as I am now that Young Justice Outsiders has arrived, or that Young Justice has come back? Let me know, okay? As always, let's rock this.